Have you ever felt that the deeper you think, the more isolated you become? That the more you understand, the less people want to listen? It's not in your head. Society has always feared deep thinkers. Not because they are wrong, but because they see what others don't want to. History proves it. Socrates was executed, Galileo silenced, Tesla ridiculed. Not for their lack of brilliance, but because they made people uncomfortable. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the most brutally honest philosophers, believed intelligence itself was a curse, a gift that isolates those who see reality too clearly. But why? Why does society resist those who think differently? The answer lies in psychology. When you stand next to someone strong, you admire their strength. When you meet someone rich, you might envy them, but you don't feel attacked. But when you encounter someone intellectually superior, something shifts. This is the mirror effect. A deep thinker doesn't just share ideas, they reflect back the limitations of others, and people don't forgive that easily. Strength, beauty, wealth, these are external. But intelligence strikes at the core of identity. When your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are questioned, it feels like an attack on the self. That's why deep thinkers are resisted, not because they're arrogant, but because they force others to confront their own limits. And so, society pushes them to the fringes. Not because they want to be alone, but because people can't handle the weight of truth. Look around. Confidence is celebrated more than intelligence. Charismatic leaders, viral influencers, shallow motivators, they thrive by telling people what they want to hear. Meanwhile, deep thinkers struggle because truth doesn't sell, illusion does. Science confirms this. Neuroscience shows that when people feel intellectually inferior, their amygdala, the brain's fear center, lights up. In other words, intelligence can trigger the same fear response as a physical threat. Why? Because human survival evolved in tribes. Fitting in meant safety, being outcast meant death. So the brain is wired to favor harmony, not uncomfortable truths. That's why in groups, deep thinkers feel most rejected. In one-on-one settings, they're tolerated, but in groups, they disrupt the tribal balance. Their presence challenges egos, traditions, and social norms. This is why deep thinkers often crave solitude. Not because they hate people, but because they see too much. And once you see the illusion, it's hard to unsee it. Schopenhauer called this the will to truth. Most people live by the will to survive, chasing pleasure, comfort, and routine. But deep thinkers seek truth, even if it leads to pain, isolation, or despair. And so, they struggle with the things most people enjoy. Small talk feels meaningless. Entertainment feels shallow. Success feels hollow. Because they see beyond the mask. History shows the pattern. Socrates killed for corrupting the youth. Galileo imprisoned for proving the earth moves. Nietzsche dismissed as insane. Tesla abandoned and broke. Alan Turing persecuted after saving millions in war. Society doesn't celebrate deep thinkers when they're alive. It only praises them in hindsight, when their ideas are no longer threatening. So what can you do if you are one? First, embrace solitude. It's not a punishment, it's freedom. Use it to create, to read, to understand. Second, seek those who think like you. You don't need the world to understand you, just the right few. Third, choose your words wisely. Not everyone is ready for the truth. Remember what Schopenhauer said. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. Deep thinkers are not rejected because they are wrong. They are rejected because they are right, too soon. So if you've ever felt alone in your thoughts, know this: you are not broken. You are simply seeing the world for what it really is. And while society may fear deep thinkers, it is deep thinkers who push humanity forward.